High School Game Day Thanksgiving Edition, brought to you by Nissan.
Hello, and we are ready. Tom Leyden, Butch Stearns with you. We have 23 games of highlights. There is not a lot of time for jibber-jabber, as much as we like to jibber-jabber.
No, we've had high school game day all year long, and this is the penultimate moment, isn't it?
I like big words right out of the gate. The yearly controversy coming to the forefront once again this year. If you're playing in the Super Bowl next week, do you rest your starters for the Thanksgiving game? Well, here we go. Kick it off in Marshfield. Duxbury starters voted to rest. So a chance for the Rams, 6-4, coming in to make this a game. Marshfield took advantage. Already 8-zip in the second quarter on their home turf. Here's Preston Van Fleet, and that's a wide open hole in the defense.
How about that name?
I love it. Ran for 105 yards. He scored twice. Big turkey leg for Preston tonight. And Cam Bowden, he had a day too. Said after the game he would have liked to see the A-team. 124 yards for Cam and a runaway win for Marshfield, 41-zip.
Right next door to Marshfield, Tom, we go to Scituate, where Hingham's Zach Kelleher powers his way in for the score right here. Ties the game at 14 with Hingham. Scituate scores to go up by 6, and then this. Matthew Sibilio up top, and look at Nate Gould go up over Kelleher and Grady Harrington for the score. Hingham down 13. Quarterback Owen O'Brien overthrows Christian Michael Julian, and Garrett McKinnon's there with the pick. Last year at this time, Scituate was about to win a state championship, but this year they have to settle for a win on Turkey Day.
You know, the town did an unbelievable job getting us ready for the game today, and I'm so happy for my kids and proud of the way they played today.
This was awesome. You know, last game, you know, I was getting a little teary-eyed there at the end when in the V formation, because I knew that was it. But, you know, I'm so thankful for everything that I've gained along the way, and, you know, I can't thank Scituate football enough.
And thank you for many touchdowns over the years. Woburn and Winchester gave us a classic last year. This time it was in Winchester. Going to spotlight the defense here, Butch. Winchester, good-looking throw from Tommy Degnan, but Mike Kusa steps in. Picks it off for the Tanners, but turnabout fair play. Woburn down 7 in the fourth. This is fourth down. Jaden Simmons picked off by Jacob Flores. Now, the star of this game was Degnan. 127 yards, a touchdown on the ground, a touchdown pass. Winchester takes it 14-7. They finish 9-2. Listen to Degnan wrap up the emotions of playing that last game perfectly.
And I knew this one was going to hit me, or it's going to be your last day, and you're finally going to realize it. And it sucks. But you got to get past it, you know. And all these other guys are feeling it too. For all us seniors who it's our last time playing with all these great guys, you know, it's a tough moment.
It's a brotherhood. How about starting your Turkey Day game with this, Tom? Framingham's opening kickoff dropped by Natick's Nick Ofadil. It's stripped by Matias Busalaro and Joe Ferranti there for the scoop and score. Opening kickoff, but Native recovers quickly. Framingham's Andrew Keene can't grab the throw from Jack Beverly, and Jake Dunlap, number 33, with the pick 6. Redhawks take the lead for good. Producer Jen McQuillan smiling. Natick's only loss this year came to Mansfield in the D2 South Final on High School Game Day, but Turkey Day belongs to the Redhawks. Jalen Aponte with the score, 34-12 Natick over Framingham.
And thanks again, guys, for helping us with our promo this year. Our thanks to Watertown Television for these highlights. Belmont won last year. The Raiders looking to strike back. How about a flea flicker? Love it. 35 yards into the end zone. They're on top 7-0, but they took a lead early last year as well. Belmont had an answer then. They had an answer today. Avery Arno at quarterback. That's Matt McHugh on the receiving end. Nifty move, and look out. You just dream about these moments. An 87-yard touchdown connection. Belmont once again victorious. They knock off Watertown 24-14. Little shout out to my boys in the 0-9 club from Watertown, commiserating with the boys who lost today.
Needham and Wellesley, let's talk about it.
Yeah, oldest public high school football rivalry in the country. A lot has happened over the years, but nobody expected what happened today.
No, this game's seen it all for many, many years, Tom. And when you think about it, two neighboring towns, lots of history, families involved. It's everything that Thanksgiving rivalries are all about. 132nd edition of this legendary game. Needham 2-8 coming in. Wellesley 8-2 with both losses to Natick. Up 14-0 in the second. Raiders quarterback Matt Maiona hits junior Anthony Perez 49 yards for his second touchdown of the game. 20-0 Wellesley. Chippy game. Raiders looking for more, and Maiona with his third touchdown pass of the day, this time to senior Teddy Kumjathy. 27-0 the final, Wellesley over Needham. But then ugliness. Watch in the back of your screen, Needham's number 3, Odari Hibberts, drills Wellesley's Jameer Pritchard, and here we go. Bench is empty. They pulled both teams from the field, did not finish the final 2 minutes of the game. No room for this in any game, but especially on Turkey Day.
That's not the in the spirit of the game or the rivalry for sure. It's definitely been new for me in terms of the experience, but we need to play a little bit more class in terms of football. There's lessons to be learned on both sides. We want to make sure we're playing class football.
Yeah, we know Jesse, we know Doug. We covered that in depth through a documentary a couple of years ago. Those coaches certainly didn't want to see that happen. But I'll say this, I'm going to sound like an old man. Don't tell me what these kids watch when they watch the NFL doesn't rub off, because it looks a little bit like the Steelers and Browns, doesn't it?
Yeah, and these two coaches played high school football against each other, Tom. They talked about it after the game. Nobody wants to see this. Look, emotions get the best of you. Let's hope nothing else spills out of this going forward from this.
We heard some of the refs even talking to some of the players and some of the footage that we shot, and they were pointing out, like, listen, you could get suspended for basketball, for hockey, for baseball. Get off the field. We're done. So lessons that you got to learn on nights like tonight or mornings like this morning. We're back for our second quarter right after this. Brendan Hall from thehuddle.com is with us, and we're also live on Facebook. If you're watching this live on Thursday, we're going to stay live throughout the entire half hour. So go to Boston 25's Facebook page. We'll be talking to you in mere seconds.
You're watching Thanksgiving football on Boston 25.
So we are back, and we're live on Facebook. Not bad. Good out of the chute.
We're not reading prompter on Facebook.
No, we're not. Here, actually, let's take a little step over here. So take a little twirl around our studio. And I also want to introduce everybody to our producer, the real MVP of the show. Listen to Chad Amaral. Chad, say hello.
How's it going?
Nice to hear from you. We always hear your voice in our ears, but now people
now everyone
can hear.
else can hear me. That's good.
How did we do in the first block?
Not too bad. A little heavy. 10 seconds heavy. We were promoting 23 highlights. Got to get them all in.
Brendan Hall's here, huddle.com. Your thoughts on today?
I mean, the Wellesley Needham game, right? I think anytime I think you've been playing that long is, I don't know. It's unfortunate to see a rivalry like that unfold the way it did today, but the beat goes on, right?
We're going to weigh in on this on the air. Come on over. I feel we've left Butch.
I'm too lazy to get up.
Yeah, right.
It's too
hard to be left behind.
Butch ate too much turkey.
Butch ate too much turkey. We're going to get into it on the air, but your thoughts generally on the sit 'em or play 'em?
Well, I'll get into this later, but I think we have to remember on a statewide level, right? There's certain regions of the state that actually don't play Thanksgiving football, so there is an inherent scouting advantage in some areas, right? A couple years ago, I remember when Wacona played Holliston in the final, and obviously it was for naught because Holliston ran all over them, but that whole staff went out there to scout Holliston on Thanksgiving.
90 seconds left in the break, boys.
So what can you do with another game to run a scouting report on, to get tendencies on, to see, what they do in certain formations? Who knows? You need everything you can at the state final level to get that edge. So
Again, we'll talk about this more later, but there really has to be a solution where the Thanksgiving Day games aren't rendered less meaningful, because that's what's happening right now. When you're not playing, you had a coach apologizing today for the starters, not being able to play at a time when maybe they could. There are some solutions, though. People have some ideas. We'll talk about that in a bit.
If it was me, I'd want to play every game. If you told me I played today and we got another game scheduled for Sunday, I'm in. You're only between 16 and 18 years old.
Easy to say from the desk.
Yeah, easy to say from the desk.
It is.
Chad. But they bounce back a lot quicker than a 47-year-old would. I'd play today if they told me to play today. Just think about if you lose on Thanksgiving, like many teams did, and then you lose the championship game. Now you've got a terrible taste in your mouth after a great season.
Right. Guys, I got one more hit in me in football.
Oh, you got an idea?
I got one more big hit in me.
We'll save it for this break.
Yeah.
We got 20 seconds to go.
Where are we starting? We're going. Should I button this? What do you think? I feel like it's open too much.
Button.
Button? You want me to button it? I don't know.
Nah,
All right, what do we got in this segment here? Oh,
You are watching Thanksgiving football on Boston 25.
Thank you, ladies. We're back with our second quarter, the 2019 edition of our Thanksgiving extravaganza.
Yeah, a bunch more games to show you in this segment. A lot of them coming up with Super Bowl implications, teams that are heading there.
Yeah, let's head north. Linfield making the trip to North Reading. Linfield 8-2, lost in the playoffs to Amesbury. North Reading 7-3 coming into this one. They were knocked off by Marblehead in the playoffs. Really great finish to this. Linfield is up 19-14, just over a minute to go. 4th and 4. Brian Heffernan to Jack Keller. The captain scores the go-ahead touchdown in his senior year, but would it hold up? Here come the Pioneers. Clayton Morengi to John Lee down the field. So they got a shot, Butch, to win it with a field goal. Now, Blake Peters is a fantastic kicker. This one's from 35 yards out. Plenty of leg, but doink. Oh, off the goalpost. North Reading hangs on to win 21-19.
Thanksgiving, last game of the season, last game of our careers for most of us. And, you know, went out there, did everything we could, left it all out on the field, and whatever happened, happened. And it wasn't a pretty game, but came out with the dub, and that kick just missed, a matter of inches.
So North Reading a winner. How about the Reading Rockets facing Bob Almeida's Stonehill Spartans? Stoneham. Freudian slip there. First quarter. Stoneham running back Chris Dragoni at midfield breaks through the line. He's gone. Stoneham runs wild in this one. They attempt just 2 passes in the game. Dragoni goes in for another score coming up. Deshaun Chase, get this, rushes for over 200 yards and 2 touchdowns of his own after he came in after Dragoni. 37-6 the final. Stoneham over Reading in the 85th matchup in that rivalry.
So Lincoln-Sudbury, 8-2, playing Mansfield. D2 Super Bowl next Friday. Did not play their starters.
Nope.
Newton South 4-6, but they took advantage of a shot at the reserves. From his own 27, Anthony Moregni. And he was not done. This next one you're going to see came back because of a penalty, but Moregni scored twice. Newton South rallied in the fourth quarter to win this one. 24-15 was your final. The Warriors, of course, off to Gillette for the D2 championship.
Speaking of Super Bowls, Catholic Memorial, of course, will be playing in the D1 Super Bowl against St. John's Prep. Can't wait for that one. Today, facing BC High for the second time, Eagles quarterback Bobby Weisenhahn. Look at the pass to Jacob Perez. BC High takes the 14-13 lead early in the fourth quarter, but ensuing kickoff, Tom. CM Zach Mitchell, oh yeah, 96 yards for the game winner. 1914, CM beats BC High for the second time this year. The Knights are 11-0. Heading to the Super Bowl.
We need that overhead camera like they had for Cordero Patterson.
Yes.
That was the best shot I've ever seen of a kickoff return. Another great season for John DiBiaso and Catholic Memorial. That should be a great Division I Super Bowl with CM and St. John's Prep. They played awesome game in October. Zach Mitchell had 3 touchdowns. CM beat St. John's Prep by 2, 34-32.
Yeah, former BC quarterback Brian St. Pierre, who we all know, in his 6th season coaching his high school alma mater, St. John's Prep, and this shaping up to another great one at Gillette next Saturday, Tom.
So today, they played host to Xaverian, who was 4-6 coming in. Let's just say they had a hard time containing James Guy. This one right here, the sophomore running back, revved it up big time. This is the first of 3 touchdown runs on the day. He scored from 50, 26, and 3 yards out. The Prep played their starters, Butch. Here's senior captain Matt Crowley to senior captain Anthony Fagan. The Eagles soar into championship week, 35-zip.
Mansfield at Foxboro. Remember last year's triple overtime thriller at Fenway? Mansfield gets their revenge today, and it starts with a halfback option. Nick Marciano to Danny Raposa for the Mansfield touchdown. Then look at the great blocking from Mansfield's offensive line. They played their starters today. Michael DeBolt breaks a tackle for the TD. 22-12 Mansfield wins in Foxboro. Mike Redding's 10-1 Hornets face Lincoln-Sudbury in the D2 Super Bowl next weekend. Speaking of Super Bowl teams, Melrose rushes for 321 yards against Wakefield today. Matthew Hickey with a huge game, 132 yards rushing and 3 touchdowns. Captain William Pesci had 91 yards and just 4 carries and a touchdown. Sean Hebert also runs for a score. 35-7 the final. Melrose over Wakefield. Tim Morris hopes to have Chris Cusolito back from his fractured fibula, Tom, for next week's D4 Super Bowl against Plymouth South.
Oh, is he Jack Youngblood? Speaking of broken legs, BB Ramos missed last year with a broken leg, back with a vengeance. This is his 20th touchdown of the season. A 17-yarder, one of 3 touchdowns today for Ramos for Andover. North Andover, good quarterback, Will Scheimoller. 50 yards in the air. Kid's got a wing. Good for 6, but that was it for the defending champs. 8 points total today. 41 for the visitors thanks to 284 yards on the ground. That's a freshman, Lincoln Beal, getting 41 yards on that one. Golden Warriors in a rout today, 41-8.
Best finish of the day has to go to the 110th meeting of Swampscott Marblehead. Swampscott's Dylan Dubiel recovers the onside kick with 3 minutes to go. So 47 seconds left. Thomas Frizzoli from 25 yards out. It's good. Big Blue takes the lead 16-14.
Oh, they're going to win.
Now just 16 seconds left. Josh Robertson to A.J. Russo for the game winner. That penalty was on Swampscott. It's declined in a thriller. Marblehead beat Swampscott 22-16, but Swampscott will go on to play Amherst in the D7 Super Bowl December 7th.
Vicky Graff's over there in the Weather Center. She gave an audible woo for that.
Yes, she did, an audible woo.
Big catch by A.J. Russo. 3 guys surrounding him in the end zone. Good stuff so far. 2 quarters in the books.
We got more to go?
Yep. Stick with us. Go over to the Boston 25 Facebook page. More with Brendan Hall, Butch, and myself. But we're going to take a break. We'll be back right after this.
You're watching Thanksgiving football on Boston 25.
All right, we're back on Facebook. Great to have you with us. Why don't
Brendan, come on back over here.
Chad, why don't you line up what we got coming up here in the 3rd segment?
All right, so let's just say all 3 of our hometowns are in the next segment, but only one of our hometowns actually won a game. If you guys want to guess which hometown that was,
well, wait a minute.
We'll let that go. We'll
your
tease
hometown
that.
Is what, Brendan?
Westminster, Mass.
Westminster.
Oakmont Regional High School.
Right.
Yeah, we don't know about that.
Yeah, doesn't
Sorry,
matter, I guess.
We'll get you next time.
Yeah.
So we're gonna talk about all 3 of our hometowns: Braintree, Dartmouth for Chad, and your adopted hometown of Westwood.
Right. The Wolverines trying to knock off Holliston. You know, I was hoping. Talk about all this like sitter play. I was kind of hoping Holliston would advance to the state championship game because they have been known to sit their players on Thanksgiving, which would have given the Wolverines a little bit of a better shot today.
They did it a couple years
Not
ago
so much.
when they had, like I told you about the Wacona thing. They rested their starters, so they made that scouting trip for naught. And rest is history. Zach Elkins, I think, was still one of the best performances I've ever seen. 5 touches, 5 touchdowns in the first half, and it just rolled.
You see some of these teams like Melrose, who didn't go last year, but has gone to state championship games.
This is the 4th time, I think, since 2013 or 14.
Holliston the same way. You know, teams. What is it? How do these high school teams become so consistent over time? Is it just coaching?
It's coaching in a program.
It's buy-in. It's buy-in at the youth levels. It's buy-in all the way up.
Yeah, I think it's a program. I really do. And coaching is a part. Like at Braintree High School, the year I graduated, we were the 4th largest school by enrollment. And we had great athletic programs, but we were never a football town.
They've never recovered from Butch Stearns leaving.
We were a baseball town and a hockey town. What was that?
They've never recovered from you leaving.
That's true.
You ever wonder why Dennis Yarmouth every year has a quarterback who lights up the state with passing touchdowns? Because they're showing read option in 2nd grade in Pee Wees. So it takes a village. And it takes a village that is all rowing the same boat, going the same way.
All right, we got to get Brendan off set. He's got to
for you.
Oh, boy.
All right, we're 8 seconds heavy going into this segment.
Oh,
so we got to move a little faster. Pick up the pace.
Move faster.
Why don't we put
You're watching Thanksgiving football on Boston 25. Let's go Knights!
Thank you, ladies. Tom, this is the segment where we're supposed to brag about our schools. Now, my hometown, of course, is Braintree, and we will check in on my Womps in just a bit. But let's start in Westwood.
Yes, I was not born and raised in Westwood, but we live there now. We love it. Nobody likes losing, especially to the Turkey Day rival. Holliston is really good. Only lost to Ashland in the regular season and then Swampscott last week in the semifinals. So they're 9-2. They also beat Westwood 34-0 on October 5th. Would it be any different today? Well, already 7-0 in the 2nd quarter. Mitch Gimblett out of that patented wing formation, 14-zip. They were off to the races. 15-zip in the 3rd. How did that happen? I must have gotten that score wrong. Matt Arvanitis fakes it, keeps it, streaks to the end zone, lopsided again. Incredible. Holliston outscored Westwood this season, Butch, 84-0.
Oh, my
Hurts
goodness.
me to say it, but nice job, Panthers. Excellent, excellent season.
All right, let's go to Milton. My beloved Braintree Womps holding bragging rights after last year's win on Turkey Day. Milton 9-1 coming in. Quarterback Chase Vaughn. Sweet touchdown to Jackson McMillan in the corner. Wildcats lead, but the Womps come back. Quarterback Michael Tellier up top to Cameron Garrity. Oh, yeah. Womps in business, but not for long. Vaughn back up top, this time to Malcolm Samuels. 19-7 Milton over Braintree. The George Remicardi Trophy will stay at Milton High for the next year.
So we're both sad. Masco and Everett, Greater Boston League, trying to snap 2-game losing streak. Here you go. Everett, clear sailing. That was Clarence Jules. He muscles his way home from there. Sammy Lamoth is going to pick off this pass right here. 29 yards later, he's in the end zone. Pick six and extra licks of the Thanksgiving ice cream. Everett was looking to snap a two-game losing streak today. They came in 7-3. They took care of that. Tyrese Baptiste with a little jet sweep that concludes with celebration in the end zone. An easy win for Everett, 41-7 this morning.
Annual Battle of the Boroughs. The Attleboro Blue Bombardiers take on North Attleboro Red Rocketeers. Attleboro junior Mike Strachan follows his blockers in for the 7-0 lead. Attleboro's next possession. Watch quarterback Jason Ware. Keeps it on the veer, the option, call it whatever you want. He breaks it 52 yards for another touchdown. We're named the Balfour Offensive Player of the Game. 17-13 Attleboro over North Attleboro, and the Blue Bombardiers lift the Hilda Trophy for this year.
So we did our hometown.
Excuse me, 13-7 was the final there.
Sorry, I made a mistake too. Now it's time to do the hometown of our producer, Chad Amaral. There really is no one who works harder on this show than Chad. He's a Dartmouth alum. He's a Dartmouth resident. And Chad's mic'd up tonight in the control room. So, Chad, what do you have to say about the effort from Dartmouth tonight? We're listening.
Unlike your hometowns, Dartmouth never lets me down on Thanksgiving. They weren't about to start today. Let's get to the highlights.
The Dartmouth Indians marching band, one of the best in the country. Dartmouth may be 3-7, but like Chad said, they're not losing today. Nolan Ellis at quarterback. I love the mud on the uniform.
Yes.
Give me grass and mud. 10 times out of 10. 7-0 Indians. We start the third quarter with the road team up 21. This is Ethan Marks. Chad, give it to me.
Marks leaves Fairhaven in his dust. Should have kept going right to the bus. Easy win for Dartmouth, 41-0.
We got to work on the microphone in the control room, a little muffly. But
Oh, sorry, boys.
It's all good.
Durfee and New Bedford. The Durfee cheerleaders trying to get the Hilltoppers crowd in Fall River moving on a windy day. New Bedford with a great offense led by quarterback Ethan Medeiros. Watch the play action fake. Bootleg right, and he's going to take it to the end zone. Look at the little guy pounding in the end zone. New Bedford strong on both sides of the ball, and on this day, Durfee runs the reverse, but Caleb Jordan is there to blow it up. 15-6 the final. New Bedford beats Durfee on Turkey Day.
53rd meeting on Turkey Day for Seekonk and Dighton-Rehobeth, and this turned out to be a good one. Dighton-Rehobeth up 7-0 late in the first half. They're going to extend that lead. John Marcille, 23 yards into the arms of Jaron Ramos, makes it 14-0 visitors, but the Warriors respond quickly. Just 54 seconds come off the clock. JT Moran goes long for Nathan Clark. That's a 35-yard touchdown connection. It's now an 8-point game, 14-6. But the best combo of the day was Marcille and Ramos. Again, the Falcons find the end zone with just 8 seconds before halftime. They hold on after that. They win it 27-18.
Falmouth hosting Barnstable at their new field. Barnstable's Jadaro France.
I see London. S'il vous plaît.
With 2 first-quarter touchdowns. That's a 67-yarder right there. The other was a 70-yard kickoff return. You need therapy. Ross Chetkola's Red Raiders pour it on Falmouth. Brendan Hall smiling. Nick Wilson to Harry Landman. Barnstable brings home the hardware. A runaway win on Turkey Day, 47-14.
I was down there a couple of years ago. The field was not that nice. Brendan Hall, he's up next after the break. You don't want to miss him. Stick with us.
You're watching Thanksgiving football.
Back on here. Yeah, we're back. We're setting up for our final segment here.
How many games we got time for in this segment?
No
yeah,
games.
that's right.
No games.
No,
We're done
no.
with games.
Yeah, we do have to be at the BAM.
No, they agree. We're going to be at the
We're coming to the BAM, so our 11 o'clock peeps can be ready.
So we'll just stand?
So 2:30 with Brendan here, and then we'll have a little rollout package, and the 11 o'clock news stuff.
So, Chad, you did all the highlights and a rollout package on top of that?
I never stop. I mean, I carried the show today.
Pretty much. Hey, that's pretty ridiculous. So we're standing?
Yeah, you guys got to stand, unfortunately.
Get to show up.
Yeah, we'll put him on the end. That way we can both be looking at him. No, honestly, if you put you in the middle, it's like a ping pong. You're going back and forth.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, this is cool. You know, a little insight here. Got a really good text message, which I won't share the details of, but from John Brown, the Wellesley AD.
Yeah.
And he was pleased with the way that we handled that situation. Good. And I'm pleased with the way the coaches handled that situation too, right?
Well, John's one of the best.
Oh, no question
Honest to
about
God.
it. Even though I think he cut me from the BC baseball team.
He did?
Yeah, he was an assistant coach at BC
No hard
back in the
feelings,
early
right?
90s. I used to like you, John. I was appreciative of the note until I remembered that you were part of the crew that cut me, but that's all right.
No, John's seriously one of the best people I've ever met in my career. So
He's obviously a great judge of baseball talent, too. So.
Oh, thanks, Chad. I used to like you.
touche. What a ricochet, huh?
Lincoln-Sudbury lost today.
Myself with
Yep.
people who
And
liked
Duxbury
me.
lost today.
Yep.
Ashland.
Ashland lost, and that's interesting because Ashland was
Plymouth South.
so inspired.
Why are you asking if teams lost? You know, not
South lost.
mentioning who won.
No, I'm just saying all the teams that sat their starters lost.
Who won, Chad?
Catholic Memorial won. St. John's won. Mansfield won. Melrose won.
The only one who started the starters.
Swampscott lost.
Yes, they're the only one.
Artsy, yeah.
And they lost on the amazing A.J. Russo touchdown, Vicky.
So we're going to start talking about sitting. We're going to start with that.
Were you
and then
at the
we're gonna go
game?
right into,
A minute left in break,
You
guys.
went to that game? That's great. Vicky was at the game. You should have done the spirit
2:30
cheer
this
for
segment.
us there.
2:30.
Can I do my upset special?
2:30 with Brendan.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And then toss to the rollout.
Cool.
Okay. So is it we got to be done at 2:30, or is it we talk for 2:30 and then we're done?
You talk for 2:30, then you're done.
So a little bit like the Lethal Weapon scene with Danny Glover and Mel Gibson. Is it 3, 2, 1, then jump, or is it 3, 2, and jump on one?
It's like the Monty Python throwing the grenade.
Yes.
1, 2, 5. 3, sir. 3.
So we doing sit or start first?
Yeah.
And why don't we?
Butch loves this topic.
Don't forget, people, while you're watching us here on Facebook, the people on TV have not heard from Brendan yet, so you're going to have to sort of weigh in.
I
with a
got
clean
an
slate.
upset special if they'll let me talk for about 10 seconds here.
We're good. You got a whole 2.5 minutes. So look, the clock's. We are back with Brendan Hall from Huddle.com. Handsome, isn't he? Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Turkey Day.
Absolutely.
So sit him or play him. Where do you stand?
All right, I'm going to have a little bit of a hot take here, but just try to go into the mindset of a coach here. Now, in Duxbury's case, Springfield Central does not play a Thanksgiving game. So if I'm Springfield Central and I hear Duxbury's playing their starters, I don't know, you're going to take a 2-hour drive to the South Shore? Maybe get another game of scouting reports to work with. That can be a huge advantage come to Super Bowls. We saw this a couple years ago when Wacona went all the way to Holliston to scout Holliston, who sat their starters. What was the score of that game? 43-0 Holliston.
Yeah, Westwood won that.
So I understand that point of it, but I mean, when you think about it, the history of Thanksgiving, I would think that the most popular thing is not to sit your starters, at least from a fan's standpoint, to play them. Like the teams that sat their starters today all lost. Lincoln-Sudbury, Duxbury, Ashland, and Plymouth South. They lost on Thanksgiving Day in their senior year.
Sure.
Because they sat and didn't even play.
Absolutely. And there's the other side of the coin of this, too. You saw CM, you saw St. John's Prep. Yeah. How many times have we gone to St. John's Prep and asked about this, and they go, are you really going to tell our kids not to play for the Catholic Conference title? So maybe that's a solution. I've said this for a long time. Make it mean something. There's a league title on the line every Thanksgiving in the Catholic Conference.
You mentioned that Duxbury took a vote. Their kids voted, right?
Yeah, the players didn't want to play, and I liked your idea, too, that you had texted to you today.
Jeremy Silva, Lou Silva's son, who texted me last night, we were going back and forth about it, and he said if you start the season a week earlier, you could play the Super Bowls before Thanksgiving, and now the Super Bowls are over, and you take that strategy out of it.
I've been hammering this. Start the season Labor Day weekend. You got college football starting, you got NFL starting. Ride that wave.
Let's talk about the Super Bowls, because now we can put Thanksgiving in the rearview mirror. We can start talking about what happens next week at Gillette Stadium. Where do you want to start? You want to start with your upset special, or you want to get into Division I,
let's
Division
hear
II?
let's start with the good stuff, okay? So everyone thinks after Springfield Central ran through Everett, put 64 on St. John's, kicking 8 extra points. How do you beat Springfield Central? I'll tell you how, okay? Will Prouty. Number 0 in your program, number 1 in your hearts. If there's anybody who's up for the challenge of beating big bad Springfield Central, it's Duxbury. They got a great defensive line. They got great athletes all around the back 7. And Dave Manwar is smart enough to come up with a good game plan to take these guys out.
Our game of the week is going to be Friday. You're going to be there. It's going to be Lincoln-Sudbury and Mansfield. They play Friday night at Gillette Stadium. We thank you, but most importantly, we thank everybody for watching, and our producer, Chad Amaral, for doing a fantastic job, including the editing of this rollout piece that we say goodbye to. Goodbye.